So in France, this is part of the education finesse that I was talking about in a couple of videos previously. Um, so I was doing a master's for international business, and the education in Europe is way cheaper, like way cheaper, way cheaper. Um, and the same, you got to understand that you can get similar information in different types of institutions, like you know things like, if let's say you're doing math, right? Let's just say very basic math, just for the sake of this example, like 2 plus 2 equals 4. You don't need to go to the best institution to understand that 2 plus 2 equals 4. You know what I'm saying? You could learn that from your community college. You could learn that from you know wherever. Like, it's just basic stuff. um and that applies in certain aspects, like certain other, I guess, subjects. So something like business too, that's not a very you can learn that like in different places. Like, you just need the information, um and so that's more what I was concerned about, was just getting the information for myself. I wasn't super concerned about like the prestige levels or anything like that, because at the end of the day, I understand that the school is also a business itself. Like, they also are trying to capitalize on students. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna go pay some fucking premium price to get the same information that I could get for cheaper overseas. Um, just to put myself in debt and everything like that. Like, that's stupid. But the equal amount, like what I saved from by doing that, is probably somewhere close to like 100K off, like, just off top. Like, the same program in the US versus overseas, I probably saved 100K. Um so that was huge. That was huge. I needed that. And but the time that I was in France was challenging because I sort of lost like my support system. I lost my friends. Um I lost just the general familiarity of everything, because it was a completely new country. So I definitely learned a lot about, like, putting my shoes in a foreign exchange student position, and just understanding like the challenges that they go through, because that shit is difficult. Like, you're far away from home, like you don't know if something happens, like a situation or an emergency or something like that. Like, you don't know all the laws, you don't know the fucking country code, like you don't know, I don't even know if I know the fucking like 911 number if there is an emergency. I don't even know. Um and so I also had to there was a lot of problems that I needed to solve outside of the problem of just studying. Like, how do I live? Like, how do I go to this city and live? And so, you know, luckily I had found a restaurant job that I was working. I worked at for almost 2.5 years. Um, but it was difficult because the main challenge that I had there was I was only working part-time. So like, school was really long. Like, I think in one year, I think I took 22 classes. Like, I'm not even lying to you when I say I took 22 classes in one year. Um, so that was just a fucking mess. Um, Overall it was good, but overall it was also a mess. It was kind of just everywhere. Like, it's hard to digest information when you're just being bombarded with information. But that's the European system. That's like not uncommon in Europe. Um, like, when I was talking to my European friends, they're like, "Oh, like, no, this is normal. This is normal." I was like, "What are you like, bro? What are coming from the States where we have like semester system and quarter system, where I'm in like three classes for like 3 months, and then all of a sudden I got 9. It's like, bro, all right, this is an adjustment. Um, but the thing that was challenging was that I was working part-time and going to school, so I wasn't making the full-time wage, which made it more difficult for me to live because I needed the full-time wage, but I only had enough time to work half-time, basically. And already half-time felt like full-time because I'm doing the school plus the work, you know? Um, so after everything, I was probably, and this goes into a whole thing about the European like economic system and everything. But at take home, the end of the month, I was probably coming back with like 750 euros. My rent was like 550, something like that. So just from there, I probably had like 200 euros to live off of for the month. And me, you know, coming as a Division 1 athlete, like I eat a lot, bro. Like I'm not saying I'm a big dude, but I am a bigger like, I gotta eat, bro. Like I'm not, and in Europe where they have a fucking little croissant for breakfast and like some coffee and a cigarette, it's like, yo, like like I'm gonna need some fucking scrambled eggs and like some potatoes and hash browns, like, a little steak on the side, um, like I'm gonna need that for sure. So back home, like my general grocery bill was probably somewhere in the ballpark of like 100, like 115 per week. Just all the food that I was consuming. I mean, training 4 times a day, you're gonna eat a lot. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna definitely have to cut back on that. And I lost a ton of weight. I lost when I left when I left because of my um event in track. I had to maintain a certain weight. So generally when I would be competing, I was like 165, 170. And when I left, I was like 170. And I lost around 20 pounds. I was like the lowest I got to was like 153, I think. Um, and just, you know, a lot of times I had to like skip meals. I had to skip a lot of meals. Um, that was just a really, that was tough, bro. Like that shit was tough. That shit was tough because I was still doing these like I would say I was doing 18, 19-hour days consistently for about 3 to 4 years, like 3.5 years, 18-hour days, bro. Like, I'm not saying like, I would be fucking around for like 18 hours, bro. Like, no, 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 like intense shit for like 18 hours back to back to back to back. Like, this shit was serious, and like the restaurant industry, and I was working in a hotel. Bro, this shit was no fucking joke. Like, and the thing is, in Europe, they like understaff a lot. So we would have we would have services of 130 people with 3 servers and like 2 chefs. Bro, like it was insane. Um, like this, so during this time, I would go to class basically 8 to like uh, 8 to like 3:30, 4. I'll go to the gym, come back, eat, and then go to work. Work was from like I think I would get there around like 5:30 and then be off at 1. Bro, so I was in there until 1 a.m. Um just like the restaurant would close around 10:30, and then we would start cleaning, doing all that stuff 11:30. 11:30 we had to prep all the other stuff for the next day. and then it was like 12:30, so obviously it fluctuated, but like mostly like 12:30 to 1. Um, and then the next day just back up class at 8, be up at like 6:37, bro. Like I didn't even study yet. You get what I'm saying? Like I didn't even have time to study or anything. Um, and at the same time, I was still trying to figure out how I was gonna do this art school thing because my plan was to do the business school and then the art school, but I had figured out a way with this business school to do them both at the same time. Because the second year of the business school was just a thesis. So I was like, all right, well, that's just writing. That's easy. That's just you knock that out the park. So I was like, okay, well, I could do the other school on the side while I do my thesis and then figure it out from there. But I'll talk about that after. Um, so at this point, yeah, I'm in France. My situation is still, relationships wise, is still fucked up. Um, Now I'm alone in another fucking country. Um, and yeah, yeah, like that shit will really teach you about yourself, bro. Like that shit will really teach you, like, just because then I would walk after the work shift, I would walk back home. And the region that I was in, it was like a snowy region, so it was cold as fuck. So walking back at 1 a.m., cold as fuck, after a super long shift, I just felt like I was getting fucked. Just, every day, it just felt like I was getting fucked, bro. And I was like, damn, this shit sucks. But that's what I asked for, like I take full accountability. I put myself in that situation. Um, but that shit was hard. Um, those days where I didn't eat, bro, I think like forever changed me because I thought I went crazy before, bro. Like, like this was way worse because I was tired and hungry as fuck. I think I passed out maybe like 3 times just because of how hungry I was. Like I remember I'd be going upstairs and I'd get like super lightheaded. I started getting lightheaded like way more often. Like I would steal shit from the restaurant to eat at home, like all the time. Um, um, but $50 for groceries doesn't go a long way. And you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do, bro. When you're in those types of situations, you got to do what you got to do, bro, to like just survive because it's just not possible. Like, just on some real shit, it's just not possible. So you just got to figure out, and that's what I did. I figured out some shit. Um, and yeah, so yeah, that is like fall 2019, like fall, yeah, fall summer 2019. Yeah.